Okay, this is from Cleveland Clinic. Disassociative amnesia. Disassociative amnesia is when you can't remember important information about yourself. These memories are often distressing or upsetting events. It's most likely to happen with severe or long-term trauma, especially experiencing abuse, neglect, or violence of any kind. This condition is treatable, and most people can regain their memories. What is dissociative amnesia? Dissociative amnesia is when your mind blocks out important information about yourself, causing gaps in your memory. One of the most common reasons your mind blocks out things is to protect you from unpleasant, distressing, or traumatic experiences. It's not the same as simply forgetting something. In most cases, you still have the memories, but can't access them. Dissociative amnesia often happens because of very traumatic experiences, including abuse, war, and natural disasters, and cultic abuse. People with dissociative amnesia have an increased risk of self-harm or suicidal behaviors. That's also an MK program, Delta programs. You should get emergency care if you have disturbing thoughts about harming yourself, including thoughts of suicide or harming others. If you have thoughts like these, you can call any of the following: Blank and Crisis Lifeline. To call this line, dial 988. It's in the United States. Local crisis lines, mental health organizations, and centers in your area may offer resources and help through crisis lines. 911 or your local emergency services number. You should call 911 if you feel like you're in immediate danger of harming yourself, if you believe someone you know might attempt to harm themselves, or attempt blank. You should also call 911 or your local emergency services number. What is disassociation? All your experiences rely on several brain processes and abilities working together. Those include memory, consciousness, awareness of yourself and your surroundings, identity, emotions, perceptions, senses like vision and hearing, motor ability, control of your muscles so you can move around, behavior. Disassociation is a defense mechanism that your mind can use to keep one or more of the above from working with the rest. That can affect how you experience and understand things that happen and what you can remember. Dissociative amnesia is when dissociation causes memory loss. How dissociative amnesia works. To understand dissociative amnesia, it helps to know a little bit about how memory works. When you think back on events in your life, you're using what's called autobiographical memory. It's like a library inside your mind, where every book is a memory of an event from your life. To create the memories that fill that library, the brain goes through a step-by-step process. Encoding. This is when your brain forms the memory. It's like your brain writing and publishing a book for your library. Storage. This is how your brain stores the memory. Your brain files the book away in your library. Your brain also tags the memory so you can return it and find it if needed. Retrieval. This is when you go back into your library, open the book, and access details of the memory to recall what happened. Types of dissociative amnesia. There are two main ways that dissociative amnesia can work. Retrograde. This is when dissociative amnesia affects finding old memories. It's like a glitch or error that keeps you from accessing or checking out a specific memory. Anterograde. This is when dissociative amnesia blocks the formation of storage of new memories. It's like a gap in the recording of your brain, misplacing the book after creating it. This form is less common than retrograde dissociative amnesia. How common is dissociative amnesia? Dissociative amnesia is uncommon, but experts also aren't sure how uncommon it really is. Estimates range from as low as 0.2% to as high as 7.3%. The American Psychiatric Association estimates about 1.8% of people experience it each year worldwide. Mind you of trauma-based mind control? Symptoms and causes. What are the symptoms of dissociative amnesia? The main symptom of dissociative amnesia is memory loss. That memory loss can take different forms. Some people experience just one form, while others have multiple forms. The forms include localized. Memory loss affects everything with a short, specific time period in your life. Selective. Memory loss affects one event or all events of a certain type with a specific time period in your life. Experts sometimes call this patchy amnesia because it affects certain memories but not others. Generalized. Memory loss affects everything within a longer period, months or years. Continuous. This is the anterograde form of dissociative amnesia. Anterograde means it affects your ability to form new memories. So this is memory loss. That happens as events occur. Systematized. Memory loss that affects everything under a particular topic or category. It can also apply to a specific person or multiple people like your family. People with dissociative amnesia may also have certain behaviors or traits related to memory loss. Those can include lack of awareness. People with dissociative amnesia may not realize they have gaps in their memory. This can last until memory loss affects part of their sense of identity, or if someone brings up or asks something a person knows they should remember but can't. Flashbacks. People with dissociative amnesia may develop flashbacks as they regain their memories. A flashback is more than just remembering something unpleasant. People who have them describe them as reliving a traumatic event or experience to the point where they can't tell it apart from reality. Confusion or disorientation. People with dissociative amnesia, especially the generalized form, may seem unaware or like they're having trouble understanding what's going on around them. In very severe cases, people may not seem to be aware of their own identity. Interesting, isn't it? Relationship and trust issues. People with dissociative amnesia often have trouble forming friendships or romantic attachments. Travel or wandering, dissociative fugue. When someone wanders or travels during a period they can't remember, it's known as dissociative fugue. This is rare, and the memory loss usually only affects brief periods. I knew someone who went through that. Even when people are aware of the missing memories, they'll usually avoid, minimize, or rationalize why they can't remember. What causes dissociative amnesia? Dissociative amnesia can happen in connection with one-time, isolated events, or long-term stress or trauma. Things that can cause this kind of trauma include experiencing neglect or abuse, including physical, sexual, or emotional, especially during childhood, but it's also possible for adults. This is especially true when the abuser is a relative or another close trusted individual. Experiencing or witnessing violence. Experiencing S violence, including S assault, RAPE or human trafficking. War for both military personnel and civilians. Witnessing a serious injury or death of another person or experiencing a serious injury yourself. Other life-changing or traumatic experiences, like becoming a refugee. Does that remind you of things going on throughout the world right now? Interesting. Stress and traumatic events later in life can also cause dissociative amnesia, symptoms to reappear or get worse. What are the risk factors for dissociative amnesia? Experts think that multiple factors can increase the risk of developing dissociative amnesia. That's partly because the risk is cumulative, meaning it goes up when a person has more risk factors. When the trauma is longer lasting, repeated, or more severe, that usually makes the condition worse. Research also shows there may be a link to genetics. While genes can't cause dissociative amnesia on their own, they can lower the threshold for it to happen. That means a person with a family history of dissociative amnesia may develop it with fewer contributing factors. Diagnosis and tests. How is dissociative amnesia diagnosed? A healthcare provider can diagnose dissociative amnesia based on the symptoms you describe and by asking questions about what you can or can't remember, what your experience and details about your life. Your provider may also use a questionnaire designed to help diagnose dissociative amnesia. These questionnaires are like guides or checklists to your provider, helping them as they try to determine what's affecting you and how severe it is. If you're feeling anxious or worried about answering that you don't know or remember something, it's okay to tell your provider that. Well, vet your provider out. Not remembering something is a symptom of dissociative amnesia, and telling them can help them make the diagnosis. What tests will be done to diagnose this condition? There aren't any tests that can diagnose dissociative amnesia directly, but some lab imaging or diagnostic tests are still likely. Providers will also use them to rule out other conditions that could be causing your memory loss. Some of the most likely tests include magnetic resonance imaging, MRI scans, electroencephalogram, EEG, blood and lab tests to look for evidence of other conditions or toxic substances that could contribute to your symptoms. I'm wondering when they're going to start talking about trauma. Aren't you guys? Management and treatment. How is dissociative amnesia treated? Dissociative amnesia isn't directly curable. We'll stop the trauma, for one. But there are many treatment approaches that might help. One of the first steps is to remove or stop anything that might be causing or contributing to the amnesia, like S abuse, for one. An example of this would be taking military personnel. They use military too often, honestly, and I'm a veteran. It's almost like they really don't want people to really know, do they? Ring-a-ding-a-ding. Taking military personnel out of situations, especially combat. Does this remind you guys of the last 5 traumatic years? Almost 6 years that people have lived throughout the world? You know, tuned in the news 24/7? That might trigger or worsen amnesia. Some people may need care in a medical facility or specialized hospital setting to get the most benefit from this approach. Careful what hospital you go into. There aren't any medications that can specifically treat dissociative amnesia, but many medications can treat associated conditions like anxiety or depression. Never have they once brought up PTSD. Amazing. Treatment can help if and when memories do resurface. For many, the memories they regain are upsetting or overwhelming. I want to add in here, this is where the sick, repugnant, repulsive, false memory syndrome psychopaths will jump in, just so everyone knows. You know, when little children are ARD. Yeah, they love that. Mental health therapy can help you cope with those feelings and manage them in a healthy and safe way. The treatments that can help you may vary. Your healthcare provider is the best person, maybe. You got to make sure who you're talking to tell you about treatment options and approaches. The recommendations will be the most relevant to your specific situation and needs. So I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.